Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk to you about cross multiplying in maths. Now what does cross multiplying mean? It means that if we have two fractions, which if you look at the box above I've called A over B and C over D, if we have these two fractions equal, then we can say that A multiplied by D is equal to C multiplied by B. I like to think of this cross multiplying in the shape of a cross, where if we think about A times D here on the left, it's like going from top left to bottom right in that direction, and that's equal to C times B, which again is a cross shape, which gives us the result that A times D equals C times B. So let's look at some examples of how that works. So for our first example, let's imagine that x over 2 is equal to 3 over 4. Now, if we apply the rule above, we can see that x times 4 and these two terms are represented by A and D above, is going to equal 3 times 2. And those two numbers are represented by C and B. And again, we can clearly see the cross shape. So x times 4 is equal to 3 times 2. So that gives us that x times 4, or 4x, is equal to 3 times 2, which is 6. And when we're faced with something to solve like this in maths, all we do simply is take this number and bring it down below the number on the right hand side. So that's going to give us that x is 6 divided by 4. And that's the same as saying how many 4s are there in 6, or how many times does 4 divide into 6? It goes in once with the remainder 2 over 4, or that's the same as saying 1 and a half. Okay, let's look at a second example now. If we consider the example 5 over 6 equals 3 over x. Again, it looks slightly different because the x is in a different position, but we can apply exactly the same rules as before. So 5 times x, top left times bottom right, is equal to 3 times 6, top right times bottom left. So that's going to give us that 5 times x, which is 5x, is equal to 3 times 6, which is 18. And again, to solve something like this, we just drag the 5 down below the 18. So that's going to give us that x is 18 divided by 5. And that's basically asking us how many times does 5 go into 18? How many 5s in 18? It goes in 3 times, and there's a remainder of 3/5. So to recap, if we have two fractions that are equal, which I've called A over B and C over D in the top box, then we can use a technique in maths called cross multiplying, where we can say that A times D, top left times bottom right, is going to equal C times B, which is top right times bottom left.